Spoilers. My name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. So, as you may or may not know, I recently moved. It was a long, arduous process and I am so happy to finally have a home again. That being said, while we were moving, we had to get rid of like half of our stuff. So I have this guy left. Now this is falling, of course. But this is the only shelf that I have left for me. All the other shelves left are like probably going to my husband's work or my stepdaughter's bedroom. So this is the only one that I have left. That's my situation. But instead of doing like a pre-planned formulaic video with anything resembling a script, I figured that I would just film me putting together my bookshelf, which isn't going to be a very exciting video, but why not? I have so many boxes. These are all books. And that's what I got rid of. I also have several books up here on the futon with me that have already been unpacked and unboxed. And yeah, I have to sort through and see which ones I want to keep, which ones need to go to my spouse's classroom, if any of Eliza's books got mixed in there, and if there are any that I just want to put to the side for another bookshelf, maybe. I'm not really sure how many I can fit on this, but I'm gonna try my best. I try to start off my videos with what I am drinking and what I am reading. Right now, I am drinking two things. I am drinking coffee so that I can wake up, and I am drinking water from a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cup, because why not? Caffeine, hydration, keeping my throat from doing weird things while I talk for extended amounts of time in front of a camera. It all works out. As for what I'm reading, I've been pretty bad about it the last week, I'm not gonna lie. Moving into the new place has taken a lot of my energy. I'm listening to the audiobook for Salem's Lot by Stephen King though, and How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. So far I like Salem's Lot the best, big surprise. I'm farther into it. This is what I get for trying to alternate between two audiobooks rather than two different book formats. But yeah, to start off with, I'm just gonna pick up books, decide whether I want them or not, put them aside in a particular pile. If I'm gonna keep them, I think I'll put them back here. If they're my spouse's, then I'm going to put them back here, which are resting on. And if I want to get rid of them entirely, maybe over here on the ground. I don't know. We're gonna see. Alright, just gonna go with the ones that are on the futon first. I can already tell that a lot of these are going to be keep. Mr. Muter's Marvels, keep. These are my deathy books, so The Invention of Murder, keep. I love deathy books. Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Doughty, keep. Stiff by Mary Roach, keep. Hung, Drawn, and Quartered, keep. 9-Inch Nails by Martin Huxley. This is my spouse's book. It is interesting, but I think that this needs to go in either his own personal library, if he's able to establish one, or in his library at work. This next little batch doesn't look like deathy books anymore. It looks like classics like 1984. Of course, I'm keeping that. The Road, Cormac McCarthy, keeping. That's one of my favorite books of all time. There's a giant sticker on this one for some reason, but The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. It's Toni Morrison, so of course I'm going to keep it. Beloved, Toni Morrison, keeping. Difficult Women, Roxane Gay, keeping. One day I will read it. Same with Sing, Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. I've meant to read both of those for ages and I just haven't. And Jazz by Toni Morrison. So far, I am not making good headway on sorting out any of these books. So far, it's just like I'm keeping all of these, except for maybe this one. This next group, they're all my spouses. Sort of jealous, honestly, because they're very old editions of Edgar Allan Poe books. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, super cool. They're probably going to either go in his personal library or go to school. Alright, very small group. The Irish Proverb. This one was a gift from one of my younger siblings, so I keep it. Anything that was a gift, I generally keep. Never Will Whistle at Night, one of my favorite books, definitely keeping that. Brave New World, classic, definitely keeping it. Might send it to my spouse's classroom so that he can use it as a teaching tool, but we'll see because it's a favorite. Wuthering Heights, another favorite. Absolutely love this bitch. I was in the middle of a reread, apparently. But yeah, definitely keeping that. Alright, time to open one of these boxes. theoretically, without cutting myself, but we'll see how that goes because I'm using a kitchen knife and probably not the proper kind. Okay, got there eventually. That one took a minute. Let's see what's in here. Queer by William S. Burroughs. I believe this is one of my spouse's. This may be more of his stuff. I Am Malala Is Mine. And I do want to keep it, but I feel like it may have been in his library before, like educationally, a little Clerks thing. Definitely his. I do love Clerks though. Yeah, it looks like all these Communist Manifesto. We generally have similar tastes. We just have things spread apart. This one's mine, Buffering by Hannah Hart. Did enjoy that one. Do want to keep it. I support her. Long Walk to Freedom, definitely keeping. Manson, in his own words, that one's not mine, that is my spouse's, though I do kind of want to read it. I can't get this to sit up properly without falling, and it also is already at a terrible There's a reason where I was like bent over for the intro, because this is just a freaking terrible angle. But yeah, Scarlet Letter, it's a very old copy. This was a gift from me to my spouse, so that is his. Here's one of my books from when I was studying to be a funeral director, Funeral Rites and Customs. Very interesting, usually only available to people studying to be a funeral director, I think. I have no idea. Keeping that because I try to keep all of my funeral director books. The A to Z Encyclopedia of Serial Killers. Yeah, definitely keeping that one. I think actually my spouse wanted to read this one though, so I'm going to put it aside. Definitely not using this as an excuse to not fill up my shelf. This box, empty. Next box. I went ahead and opened this one off screen because that last one was a nightmare. Right off the bat, Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Good Omens, one of my favorite books. Neil Gaiman, on my shit list. I don't know what to do with this, but if I keep it, it's not going on the front shelf or anything like that because I can't, in good conscience, like, actually promote anything Neil Gaiman at this point because it's such a freaking shame. He was one of my favorite freaking... Why y'all gotta do this stupid shit? Why y'all gotta do this stupid, abhorrent shit? What is your problem? Anyway, yeah, it's a shame. But if I keep it, it'll go on a back shelf where it can't be seen by anyone. Because I do still love Terry Pratchett, so... His name is George Floyd, definitely keeping that one. It looks like the rest of this might be the Perry Hodder books, which I'm not going to say the actual name of, because Turf Queen Bitch does not deserve any promotion. I have had these for a very long time, thus I will probably keep them, but they will be put in the back. Let's see if there's anything in here that's not that. Oh, Gone Girl by Gillian Anderson. I'll keep that. I really like Gone Girl. And also, The Night Circus, one of my favorite books. I hate this knife. If all of my other knives weren't dirty at the moment, I would use a different one. Right now, I'm just muscling through this box, though, because that knife didn't do a damn thing. This box is filled entirely with my spouse's books, it looks like, and comic books, which belong to both of us. But I am not taking out all these freaking comic books. I don't know if you've ever moved them, but when you get a lot of them together, they're so freaking heavy, which explains why I had to heave this box. And also, they're just a whole mess. They're really hard to contain unless you have something to put them in specifically. The only one that I'm taking out is Queering Your Craft, because it was a gift from my older sister, because she assumes I am a witch. I'm like witch adjacent. Let's get into religious beliefs right now. I have pantheistic leaning beliefs, I guess. I believe that if there is a God, then it's basically life in the universe and, you know, existence, and that the best way to worship is loving ourselves, which I'm doing a bad job of right now, and loving other people, which, you know, sure, yeah, I'm good at that. But yeah, those are my beliefs. I'm not sure where she got the witch stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm witch adjacent. I have so many friends who are witches, and I think it's awesome, and it is something that I study sometimes. I just think it's really funny that she's like, you're queer, you're witchy right here. But yeah, it is something that I massively appreciate because it's a super interesting book. I'm not gonna lie, this next box is even heavier, and I do not hate myself enough to try and lift this right now. So yeah, we're just keeping this one on the ground. Oh my god, Goosebump books. Lots of Goosebump books. I think that a lot of these might have come from my stepdaughter's room. Yeah, I'm looking closer, and these are definitely from her room. But some of these were originally mine. This is my favorite one, Deep Trouble by R.L. Stine. Ooh. Stay at the Basement? Are you kidding me? Do we have Ghost Next Door? Freaking Monster Blood? Are you kidding me? See, we have 2 copies of Stay Out of the Basement because one is mine and one is my spouse's. I believe this one is mine because I took care of my books. Okay, so I did find a couple of books in there that are mine. One is Much Ado About Nothing. I got this while doing academic decathlon, I believe. Got that in Antony and Cleopatra, I believe. Also, Postmortem by Patricia D. Cornwell, excuse me. This is the first book in a series, the Scarpetta series, I believe. My mom really wants me to read that one. And Violets Are Blue by James Patterson. I believe this is a book in the Cross series. I've read the first 2 books in that series, and I honestly backed off because I found out that Patterson is getting out so many books by using ghostwriters, which I understand is something some people have to do, but it has always felt kind of sketchy to me. It's like, okay, so you're saying that you're not writing your own books. Like, you're getting out so many because you're essentially not writing your own books. That's what you're telling me? So yeah, I really backed off those, but the first couple had a different feel from the later stuff, so, oh, there's something in here. Powerball. Definitely not mine. No offense to the people who play. Okay, so that's another full box that I can't do anything with, but that means that I've gotten 4 books out of the way. 4 books out of the way. Actually, no, that's 3, because I didn't do anything with the Perry Hodder books yet. They're just sitting in the box, because if I don't have room on this fucking shelf for those, then they're not going on there. It's not happening. Number 3, another heavy one. Putting this on the floor so that I can, oh god, that almost hit my toes. Patrick Rothfuss, Wise Man's Fear. Okay, look, I get that people don't like Patrick Rothfuss. People don't like how he writes women. I get that. I don't necessarily like how he writes women either, but I don't think that is necessarily a matter of Patrick Rothfuss as a person, but rather the character of Koth, who is maybe not as mature in some of this that he needs to be. That's just me giving the benefit of the doubt. Either way, I absolutely love these books. I devoured them. My girlfriend suggested them to me and let me use her Kindle whenever I first read them. Devoured them during a house sitting gig, I believe. I devoured these and some books by Brahm. I was going at it. Plus that. And The Name of the Wind, which is the first one in that series. Maybe eventually we'll get the 3rd one. We've gotten kind of mid-quills and stuff like that, but we haven't gotten the 3rd book, and I don't know if we ever will, and that's okay. This is like a fantasy box, I guess. Oh, Game of Thrones. I need to reread A Dance with Dragons. Maybe this is the box where it's like, we're never gonna get that sequel, because George R.R. Martin, same way. He said, like, at least a decade, it's like a decade and a half at this point, that Winds of Winter would come out. Still hasn't, and that's okay. I'm not trying to be insistent or judgmental. I am stating a fact. It hasn't yet. Really loved these books. I didn't get to read this one as slowly or as intently as I wanted to. I didn't get to give it as much attention, and I would theoretically like to just reread all of these. Maybe I'll just make that a thing one month. Haha. Okay, so this awesome edition of Lord of the Rings that my spouse got me, I kind of don't want to take them out because I'm afraid I'm going to rip them, that they have extremely unique box art and cover art, and yeah, these are like special edition, very hard to find, and yeah, I love them. There. Good enough. Yes, keeping. Even the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which was, it was fine. I liked it fine. It was not perfect, but I think it gets too much shit and too much hype. Okay, it's like the Two Ends of the Spectrum. It's a fine book. It is definitely not amazing, but it's not terrible either. I need y'all to chill one way or another. Looks like we have the Aragon series, the Inheritance series rather, as well. So yeah, definitely gonna be keeping these guys. Ooh, it's buried down in there. It was catching on the side of the box, but yeah, definitely keeping these. One of my favorite fantasy series. I know he wrote it when he was 16, and it kind of reads like he read it when he was 16, but that's why they were so important to me, because I was a writer at that point in age and was like, there is someone who's just like a couple of years older than me who's putting out full ass fantasy novels. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. And also dragons. I love dragons. Making good progress, honestly. Another empty box. I only have a couple left, so I guess I'm either missing some or I got rid of more than I thought. And I think one of these is mostly empty. Ooh. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. Definitely keeping that. Love these books. Well, I love the first three. Let me clarify. So these three books, yes, there's different sizes, it's a different edition. It drives me nuts too. I hate it. But yeah. So these three books were all written by Stieg Larsson. Stieg Larsson expressed that this is what he wanted done. That is where he wanted the story to stop. He was not originally an author. I forget what he was. I think he was a journalist. And he got this idea, he put it on paper, and then he expressed that he didn't want the series to go on any farther. This was the series. And then he died. So that is where David Lagerkrantz took over. And in retrospect, these books, fine. I haven't finished all of them. I think I have all the books that have come out so far, maybe other than like one. And they're fine. Like, I'm not saying they're bad books necessarily. If I hadn't read the other ones, I would probably say they're good books. But compared to the originals, no. Like, he can't hold a candle to Larsson. I'm sorry. Howard Stern book, definitely my spouse's from his olden days. I have 2 copies of this. Why do I have 2 copies of this? That's so weird. This one actually matches the other ones. Kind of. Other than the fact that it's hardcover. Donating this, I guess. Let's see. Ninth House. Absolutely keeping. The Girl Who Lived Twice. Haven't read this one. Not sure if I want to read it. It does have a very pretty cover. But yeah, that's, I think, the third one in his books. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Eventually, I need to read this. But the fact is, since I got it, it was bought for me by a booktuber, like a fellow booktuber, which was so kind, and I appreciate her so much. But I have to be in the mood to read sci-fi. And I do love sci-fi, but the mood to read it only strikes every once in a while. It is not a constant thing. Same thing with fantasy. Like, I'll go through streaks where I just want to read fantasy or just want to read sci-fi. That's just who I am as a person. Right now, I am in, like, a thriller and horror phase, where that's all I want to read, and anything else just kind of slips through my brain. So, can't read it right now, but I'm keeping it. Where the Crawdads Sing. Keeping that one. A lot of people don't like Delia Owens. I'm not entirely sure why. Following up, Shel Silverstein. I have to keep it. I don't know why it's mixed in with this stuff. I might put it with my stepdaughter's things. But love Shel Silverstein. 10 Steps to Nanette. Hannah Gadsby. Hilarious comedian. Also, her stuff tends to be kind of depressing a little bit. Loved this book. Accidentally spilled coffee on it. Which is the reason I had to buy it from the library. Same thing with my George Floyd book. Odd Hours by Dean Koontz, which is not my book. This is my mother's book. So I need to read that and give it back to her. My copy of Edgar Allan Poe, Complete Tales and Poems. Had this baby for a very long time. Definitely keeping. And then the last book in here is The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. And it makes me realize I am missing my Stephen King book. I have no idea where they are. Because my phone clip has suddenly decided that it doesn't want to work for some reason. But yeah, Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King. No idea where my other Stephen King books are. I know that I kept at least some. We tossed a few. But yeah, no idea where those are. Because I don't think that this next box is Stephen King. I'll look through it. Okay, first things first. Oh god. Is this bad boy. It is the Globe Illustrated Shakespeare. It is a book that I got from my father, my birth father rather, years ago. It is so huge. I love it, but unfortunately can't actually read it anymore because of this. It comes apart. Maybe one day I'll be able to get it repaired, but yeah, I'm keeping it. It'll probably stay on display, but I am keeping it. Okay, yeah, it looks like this is where my Stephen King books went. The Shining, one of my favorites, The Green Mile. You will cry if you read these. You will cry. I made the mistake of recommending The Green Mile to my girlfriend. She hadn't read a lot of Stephen King up to that point. I think she'd read maybe one book. And she was like, what's something that's like not scary for me to kind of ease my way into it? And I was like, oh, The Green Mile isn't scary. Failing to remember that it will rip your heart out and stomp on it. I don't think that she fully trusted me from that moment onward, and that was very early in our relationship. So yeah, I'm sorry, Heather. I love you. I don't know if you're watching this one or not. She lives in Japan, and every once in a while she'll check in on my videos. It happens sometimes. Every once in a while I'll get a message like, what is this? What are you talking about? Why do you look like that in your thumbnail? Okay, I'm just picking up piles. Rose Madder. Haven't read that one actually. Needful Things. That's a good one. That was another one that I suggested to her. Carrie. And Insomnia. Also have, I think I kept these because I haven't read them for the most part. I have read Carrie. I haven't read Needful Things since like high school. Never read Insomnia or Rose Madder. I think that I tried to keep my favorites and the ones that I hadn't read in a long time or hadn't read at all. Because I know I unfortunately got rid of a lot of Stephen King books. I think I got rid of it just to be like, you know I have feelings. Speaking of my girlfriend, we have some Christopher Moore books. I got these from her before she moved to Japan. I have read one of them. I need to read the others. And yeah, plus I think the covers are neat, I guess. I don't know. Plus, Christopher Moore is just fun. Cool Gardens by Serj Tankian, who is the lead singer from System of a Down. I've read this. It's a really neat book. I think it was originally handwritten. Lots of interesting illustrations, stuff like that. He's an interesting individual. Yeah, this one is my spouse's book, but we both love it. I found my younger sibling's book, one of my younger siblings' books. One of my siblings is also an author. It's an ode to being a kid on the road, and it's a small book that they made themselves. Like, they printed, did everything along the way, all of the art, just so cool. I'm very proud of them. The ones left in this are big boys, so we have Encyclopedia Anatomicae, mine, I believe, just super interesting information, illustrations about anatomy, sort of leftover from my funeral director days, and then I believe this is, yes, this is my spouse's book. Very cool. Maxime, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's the Book of Death, though. I've been meaning to go through the entire book. It seems really cool, very cool aesthetic. Going to put it with their stuff, but I'm gonna come back to that one. And then the last one in here, which I can already see, oh god, one of my Leonardo da Vinci books. I have two of them. At one point I had like 3 more, I think, because he was my favorite artist all throughout high school. I saved up my lunch money for a year to get these books. Okay, look. Personal time. Had an eating disorder several years, but that meant that any lunch money that I got, I would save up and use them to just buy books. We would go to like Costco or something like that that had big books like this, and I would use my money to get these or Stephen King books or like the Eragon series. I think I bought those with my own money. Just books. That is how I would spend my lunch money. And yeah, that is the last book in this box, and this is the last box that was in that pile. So I guess I'm technically unpacked. I know there are more books out there, but I'm guessing that they're like packed in with other things like decorations and stuff. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna get to arranging this. For right now, I'm putting my Shakespeare and box guys up there. Also, there's a picture of a cow. I got that when I was little because I had cows as pets. This shit, that's gonna drive me nuts too. We're gonna get through this. So this is basically what we're looking at right now. I've shelved most of the stuff that I'm going to shelve. I'm debating whether I want to put the Perry Hodder books on this shelf because I think there could technically be room, but also, I don't know. That shelf probably won't show up in any videos anyway, so I might just put them down there and like shove them to the back. So this is basically my temporary setup. Pretty similar to what I said before. We're not gonna linger down there because the Perry Hodders are down there and we don't trust them. So everything kind of fit perfectly. I have issues with the size discrepancies. That bothers me a lot. But there's nothing I can do about it, so whatever. But yeah, I think it worked out pretty well for now, especially considering I only have the one shelf. I guess I got rid of more than I thought I did because before I literally had just my books spread between like 3 shelves, I think, and then the rest of it was like reference or my spouse's books, just randomness. I didn't realize just how much we got rid of. It was so much. Because at the end of the day, I think we had 5 or 6 bookshelves, like just for books. There were a couple of other shelves, but I think they only had a couple of them, and they were mainly for like DVDs and things. I want to add some decorations and tidy it up some, but for now, this is what we have. So I guess this is basically it for this video. I didn't really have much of a plan. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it more than you know. If you feel like liking and sharing and subscribing and all that jazz, that's your business. It's entirely up to you. What I would like to implore you to do, please, I'm begging you to remember, especially during like the holiday season that's coming up, which is just, but yeah, please remember to love yourself as well as the people around you, okay? Please.